We're not gonna rock music today. Yeah, pretty much how we pretty much see most of the stuff for departures. Of course, you'll have them, at least if you have it paused, as you can tell here, kind of hover over them, kind of see everything you have here. So in this case, he's on the, what do you want? The Nashville, so he'd probably be on the Hard Rock, but they're gonna fly an RNAV departure. So in case this guy beats Elbow, you're to Snapper. You're gonna beat a Sea Salt. Actually, no, Calypso, that's my bad. For you, it says room, but it's not room. Of course, for these departures, you'll hit your asterisk key, and have it displayed on the window. Of course, they assigned altitude. So in this case, I'm going to assign this guy 13. At least one. That's not it. There we go. So C130. That's a climb. And I'll do the same thing to Spirit 3171. Climb him to 160. Delta, same thing. Gonna climb him to 160. And we'll just wait on this guy. Our two arrivals up here, the Air France and Southwest. Got a Lauderdale and Miami. So in this case, they've already been assigned runways, at least runway transitions. So you'd be, at least the Southwest would be the runway 10 left transition. Air France would be the runway 12 transition. We don't want them on that, so we're going to set it to ILS 9, which would be the EI9 I just did. So expect, that's the E, I's ILS, and the number. Another way you could also see it is if you go into this little question mark here to show everything, approaches. You have all your codes right here for everything. So in this case, he's now expecting the ILS 9, and I'll go ahead and assign whatever I have for him. For JetBlue here, he'll be on the ILS 10 right into Fort Lauderdale, which is completely fine. So we're going to keep that assigned to him. If, say, he was parking in the middle, there's really nothing you can do. It's going to be the same spot. For handoffs, so in this case, we really only have one. There's a 46. Of course, this is the Miami Tracon, as some of you can tell. So in this case, you hit F5, then the sector ID, which would be C46. Or you could just type C46, click the plane. That'll flash to center. Do the same thing to the other Spirit. I'm going to assign that runway there, if I can. There we go. Then there we go. Center's now taking those handoffs. The only thing is, when you do that, make sure you hit FC. That means frequency change. So when I hit it, contact there we go. Contact center on 135.17. I'll do the same thing to that Spirit. And of course, we'll have other departures. But in this case, we'll have a Southwest coming in on the CUDA. Then we have this JetBlue coming out on the Hard Rock as well. So just to play it safe, we're going to climb this JetBlue up to 5,000. And you see, if you can tell over here, I hit that little plus icon. Use your numpad for that if you have one. If you don't, good luck. But in this case, you could do plus 050 since he's assigned to 5,000. It hit his data block. There's his tag there. And of course, we'll have the Spirit calling. Actually, we have a few other guys calling, so we're going to climb some folks up to at least my ceiling, which is 16,000 feet. Then we're going to drop that Southwest down to 6,000 now. So we'll assign him 6,000. And going from there, Spirit called up, so we'll climb him up to 60, even though or 16, even though I already gave him that. Of course, if they're going up to, say, your service ceiling, which would be, at least for me, it's 16,000, you don't have to put that in. Only if it's an assigned altitude, you would do that. I'll kind of go into a little time lapse here just to get going for the approach. Actually, before I do this next thing, of course you can tell I'm gonna hit the plus sign again. But this time, since this JetBlue is assigned 5,000 first, I now have climbing up to, was it 16,000? So to clear the, I'll zoom in here just real quick. So you can see it's A050, that's an assigned altitude to 5,000. If you want to clear that, hit your 0 key 3 times, click his data block, it's now gone. And we'll kind of continue with it here. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this JetBlue real quick. So JetBlue 81 is kind of coming in. He's getting close to his approach fix. I see initial, which in this case would be bunker. Of course, I'll hit my key again to his target. Then A. So this will be at fix bunker. Cleared ILS 10 right. Actually, I did that wrong. At bunker slash CI0R. Now he's cleared for the ILS 10 right at bunker. So since he is cleared, I'm going to middle click on my mouse. That'll turn his thing blue. That's so I know he's been cleared. Then we'll kind of go a little further from there, at least once we get there. You can kind of tell here I'm kind of doing a little fancy thing. So S210. So S is the speed, at least speed, sign speed. TD is once you reach, send to 3,000. So in this case, you'll see down here, 210 for the speed, at 210, send and maintain 3,000. I'm gonna go ahead and start taking care of some tracks here. I'll report back once I get a little closer. Alright, and I can kind of tell some of these data blocks are kind of getting a little too close. So something you could do is hit your, at least one of your num keys, or at least your numbers. So in this case it would be 6. That'll then move his data block to a specific direction. So in this case, if you want, let me think what it was. I think it's, so 3 is kind of that. 4 is, let's see, what's that? 4 is pretty much straight vertical. See, 3, 4. Oh, and 4 is that. 5 is straight up. 6 is to the right. 7's to the top left. 8's of course back to the top. 9's kind of cornered. I'll go and climb this Spirit Wings up. Just gonna slow this guy down. That way I have some space on the approach. I'm gonna slow this Air France down so I can have some space. Now I'm gonna clear this United over here. Give him the clearance for the ILS 9. Now I'm gonna drop this Frontier down to 3,000. That guy I'm gonna send off to center, and I'll work on my next few guys. In this case, this Delta will be the ILS 9. You're gonna go off to center. You've already been given a runway. Actually, no, you have. It's just I just did not words. I did not put it in. Now you're leaving my airspace, so I gotta do my little handoff there. Now I gotta turn this guy in, so I could do either H for heading, or I could do an L 180. That'll turn him left on a 180 heading. I'm just gonna ignore this thing happened. And now he's off to center. I'll go ahead and close their tracks. I'm going to drop this Air France down to 3,000. Assign his altitude, and let him drop. The Cervelo, I've also not climbed him, so I'm going to climb him. Spirit Wings, also going to climb him. We're going to try to keep it a little tight here, so of course we have this Land Peru. We're going to try to fit him between the United, or at least this frontier between Land Peru and United. I kind of do a little speed control here. Before I do that, I'm going to let that Southwest intercept. Of course, this Land Peru slowed down a little too early, so we're going to give him 210. Alright, so this United, I'm going to assign 210 just to keep him slow. I'm also going to clear this Southwest, so CI0L, that'll clear him, turn him blue. I'm going to also slow you down to 180 just to build some space. Of course, this stuff's picky, even though I have exactly what I need, but it's just to be safe. Alright, so now I'm going to turn this frontier north, and I'm going to slow this United down. Oh, do I? No. Actually, tower handoffs. I need to do that. So, the handoff to a tower, all you gotta do is just type TO. That's all you gotta do. TO, contact tower. Bam. I'm now going to slow this United down, and I'm going to drop this frontier down to 2,000. I at least want 1,000 feet max between my two departures. You've been handed off to center. Get out of here. Start the track on you, and I'm going to drop you down to 6. Okay, now for this frontier, who's heading 070 intercept, CI9. I'm going to clear him all in one shot. So he's got 2,000. You've got at least 2,000 feet between the two. But if, at least when I turn him, he's going to be heading directly towards that runway. Not type TS. I'm going to go and hand off both of those two to tower. You can tell it's a little close, but we are spaced perfectly. Okay, now we have a little issue here. We have these two guys kind of coming in. Speed control comes into effect. Slow the Delta. Keep this American at his current speed. These two are still a little too high, plus they're a little over speed. But we're going to squeeze him in behind this Delta. Heading 150 intercept for that Delta. I'm going to try to get him towards this fix here, which in this case would be Piana. You are now cleared. I'm going to turn this JetBlue in. Left 180 down to 2,000. I'm going to hand that American off to center. I'm going to take this track, where we will assign him that other runway. This Delta's kind of overshooting. Is he? No. So I'm going to go and clear this Delta for the approach. It's probably just gone through. He did. So in this case, I turn him on a 090 intercept CI12, just to get him back to the east, make sure it's within that 30 degrees, then clear him again. This American, not 210 or not 120, 210. Okay, actually here's a big thing. Cancel approach clearance. So, as you can tell here, these two are a little too close. It's mostly my fault for getting them too close, but we can always fix that. So we're gonna go and play it. CAC, cancel approach clearance, climb to 4,000. That way they are now clear, and I'm gonna increase his speed to 210. This American, I'm gonna turn him in to right 360. This Caribbean also gotta climb. Yeah, this is the thing of managing two airports too. And this JetBlue's gone through. So I'm just gonna get rid of him. I had neglected him. That's one thing you really gotta watch out too on these sims as well. You gotta keep an eye out on your stuff. So in this case, I don't wanna have to turn this American in, so I'm gonna direct him to grit. Cleared ILS 9. Now he is cleared. This Delta, I'm gonna turn him to the south. There we go. That Delta's cleared and he's gonna contact the tower. This Delta is at a perfect speed and he's been cleared. So we're gonna send him to the tower as well. Yeah, say force like this, you have someone here and here. Try to keep them spaced the best you can. This Delta, if anyone's ever flown on VATSIM or in real life, you'll kind of be given the land and hold short thing. So this Delta would be cleared to land runway 12, hold short runway 9. He's not going to physically stop on the runway just for runway 9. He'll vacate way before then. This JetBlue, I'm going to turn him. And I'm also going to clear him for the approach. So in this case, left heading 130, get him as close as you can, clear him for the ILS. Yeah, this is really more of a basic thing. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.